Hi, I'm Sandy. I'm a pretty active person on WikiTree, and I also create educational videos on the side to show off some of the really cool features and give hints and tips on how to use WikiTree. Today, I want to talk about the Connectors project, and in particular, their Connectors Challenge. It is a monthly challenge that they connect the unconnected to the big tree, the one tree, which is called WikiTree. A lot of people are getting the Connectors Challenge confused with the connect-a-thon, and those are two completely separate events. I'm going to go ahead and explain how to work the Connectors Challenge and, more importantly, how to get a score for the Connectors Challenge. And at the end of this video, it should make sense how the Connectors Challenge is different from the connect-a-thon. So the first thing we need to do is we need to come up and find a profile that is unconnected. Even though John has a child listed, I know he is unconnected because I see this little puzzle piece. This puzzle piece tells me that he is not connected to the big tree, to the one tree, to WikiTree. As I kind of look around, I see that he needs parents added. So let's go ahead and pick one and add a parent. I'm going to come over to Family Search because it's free. I like it. It has a lot of options for me. And right off the bat, before we go any further, I want to explain this little icon. If you have WikiTree Sourcer, you can use an option in WikiTree Sourcer to show you what profiles are existing on WikiTree when using Family Search. It also works on other applications, but we're just going to talk about Family Search for right now. So this tells me that a profile person and the Family Search ID is being referenced on a WikiTree profile. That's how it kind of looks at the database on WikiTree and connects. Sometimes there's a false positive, or the names are similar, or somebody uses the wrong Family Search source on a wrong profile. So you always want to double check to make sure that the person is correct. We know that John is already on WikiTree. As I scroll down though, I notice I don't have those icons by his parents. So I feel pretty safe that we could add a parent to his tree. And I'm just going to pick his mother. I'm going to go work with his mother's line. I happen to know the Pendleton last name, but really it's just a hunch. It's wherever you feel like going to try to find a connection already existing on WikiTree that you can connect to. So I don't think she's on WikiTree. I'm going to come up to the Sourcer icon, the little one. Sourcer is a separate WikiTree app, and I'm going to say save person data. It's going to do its magic. It's going to collect all the data, including the dates, the locations, and sources. As I come back over to John's profile, who's unconnected, I'm going to click on Edit. Then I'm going to click on Edit Family. That gets me right to the spot where I want to be. And here's his mother. I'm going to click on Add, because she's a new to WikiTree, and create new profile for his mother. And I have a blank profile. So what I want to do is come back up to Sourcer and select her name, Mary Pendleton. This is where Sourcer is holding that information that it collected for me. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and presto magic, it has the information filled in. You just want to double check, make sure that the information's correct. I have already looked at the sources before I did this video, so I know the information's already accurate. You also want to make sure that the location is accurate. Spell out names, don't shortcut, and don't use abbreviations. So spell out West Virginia instead of WV. Spell out the country's name. Definitely make sure you look at the country's name versus the date, and the state's name versus the date. And then I'm just going to scroll down. I'm clicking just certain because, again, I've already researched this. I've already looked at this, and I know that it is certain. And as I scroll down, I see a little bit of a biography has been put in and some sources that look good. I'm going to come down to continue, hit the continue button. And I see there are some names that could be the same. There are a few locations there. None of them seem to match, but you want to take a moment just to make sure, because this is going to be where it tells you if there is an existing profile on WikiTree that maybe the WikiTree Sorcerer app did not pick up. I like to use these filters. Location will narrow it down to the location that's closest or similar to where this Mary Pendleton was born. And I know that she was not in Maine or Missouri or Nebraska. If I click on name, that will also narrow it down to her exact name that I have added. So this is telling me that there is not a match when I use the filter. So I'm going to say create new profile. And as this saves, it'll bring up her completed profile, but it will bring up this box here that says, are you participating in a community challenge? And then click the challenge tracker. Well, the community challenge for this video is the Connectors Challenge. It's a monthly challenge, but I can only click this challenge tracker when I connect my original profile, who is John Pearson, when I connect him to the tree. I haven't connected him to the tree yet, so I am not eligible for the point. I cannot click the challenge tracker yet. I need to find a connection to the tree. Let me come over to her main profile, and I'm going to go back to Family Search. And as I come back over to Family Search, again, I happen to know the Pendleton name. It intrigues me. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Benjamin's name. He's not looking like he is on WikiTree because I don't see the little orange icon from Sorcerer. And as I scroll down, internet is working. You'll see the little question mark working in the circle. That is Sorcerer looking to see if there's any match. It does not appear to be a match. So I'm going to add this profile. I'm going to come back up to Sorcerer and select person data. It does its magic. I'm coming back over to Mary's profile, his daughter. I'm going to click on father, create a new profile. So hit continue. And I have a blank field for me to enter. I'm coming back up to Sorcerer where it held all that information for me. And I'm going to click Benjamin Pendleton's name. It fills it in completely for me. Again, I'm just going to do a real quick check to make sure that the abbreviations make sense, the dates make sense. I've already reviewed this before I started this video, so I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Okay, there is a Benjamin Pendleton, but he does not match my locations or my dates. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and say create profile. And then once this is created, the tracker comes up again. But I still have not connected to the tree. I am still an unconnected family. I'm just creating a larger unconnected family. I'm not eligible to click the tracker yet. I'm going to click this little icon here and come over to his main profile. And that gets me out of his edit screen. So let me come back over to his family search profile, and I see that his father is not added. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add his father real quick, and I will catch you on the other side. Now that I've got James entered, I come back over to Family Search and I see a little icon for his father. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click this orange icon and see what happens. I'm looking for a Benjamin Pendleton that was born around 1781, 1853. Once I click on this, a brand new tab opens and it shows that this is Benjamin Pendleton. This is the one that I'm looking for because I am looking for the Benjamin Pendleton that was born in Virginia, died in Maryland, but also married to Elizabeth. And again, just to pause, I've already looked at this information before I started this video, so I know that it's accurate. So here's the good news. I have him already on WikiTree. This is the first profile that's existing that I can connect to. So what I need to do is connect him to his child, James. I'm going to click on copy Pendleton 4870, this very first link. It's just going to copy exactly what you see. I'm going to come back over to James and I'm going to click on father. This time I'm not going to create, I'm going to connect. This is my first connection to my original profile of John Pearson to the 𝗏tree. I'm going to paste this in and I'm going to connect. This will connect Benjamin and his child, James William. And proceed to connect father. Now you notice, because I was doing connect, there is not a tracker. There's not a challenge tracker, but this is where I get my point. All the profiles that I added before now, I do not get a point for. I only get 1 point, and that's at the time that I connect to the tree. So what I like to do is I like to come over and the existing profile they connected to, I click on their WikiTree ID and copy it. I'm going to come back over to my original profile, which was John, who is unconnected. And then I'm going to come up to his name where a drop-down list appears and click on Challenge Tracker. The reason I like to do this is because when it brings up the tracker, it already shows John's name. That was my starting point. It'll put your WikiTree ID here, and you want to make sure you pick the right challenge. We have a lot of challenges going on this month. So the Connectors Challenge, not Connection Checkers, but the Connectors Challenge is the one that you want. Over here on the right, there are hints. And what I like to do is just pick this first one because that's what happened. I connected John Pearson, which is listed up here. I connected him to WikiTree profile, and I'm going to paste that link. I paste the link instead of the name, so that way we can always go back and see. There could be a million John Pendletons or Benjamin Pendletons. So we want to make sure that we click the link so we can always research it back and click add point. And the point has been added for the Connectors Challenge. This is the only point I get for all that work. And that's how you play and score the WikiTree's monthly Connectors Challenge. Little different than the Connect-a-thon. For the Connect-a-thon, what you do is you add profiles to existing profiles, and you get a point for each one you add. Connectors Challenge is not like that. The Connectors Challenge, you pick an unconnected profile and you work your way until you find an existing profile to connect to. And it could be one profile you need to add. It could be 15. It could be 20. It could be 40 or 50 profiles. You still only get 1 point. And that's at the point where you connect into WikiTree's existing profile. I just want to point out one last thing. The little puzzle piece will still appear. It takes a little bit for it to disappear, so it is not instantaneously disappearing on you. It'll be there for a while, but you know you connected because you worked the trail all the way through. I want to come back over and come down and show you another really cool trick. You know somebody is connected to the tree if at the bottom of their profile they show connection checkers. If they have a list of connection checkers, they are connected to the 𝗏tree. So that's another little trick to see. And also play connection checkers. It's completely separate from the monthly Connectors Challenge, but it's a lot of fun. And that's how you play the monthly Connectors Challenge. Happy connecting.